After accusing Ian Wright of stifling female commentators in women's football, Eni Aluko will not be included in ITV's coverage of the Lionesses' debut game. According to Mail Online, the broadcaster has chosen to utilize Anita Asante and Vicky Lasada as commentators for Friday night's live ITV4 broadcast of Serena Wiegman's team's Nations League match versus Portugal. In addition, ITV is declining to clarify if the 38-year-old Aluko will play in the European Championships this summer, despite insiders claiming the former Chelsea player will be fired by the network for her divisive remarks about Wright last month. The fact that she was passed up doesn't speak well for her future on ITV, according to insiders who spoke to Mail Online. ITV could have used the Portugal match to support Aluko and put an end to the drama. Putting Aluko on punditry duty for the Portugal match would have been a clear indication of their stance if they wanted to state their intentions and stick by her, an insider said. It is not encouraging for her to be sidelined this summer. Aluko's representatives have been approached by Mail Online for comment. In April, Aluko faced criticism after claiming that 61-year-old Arsenal great Wright was dominating and blocking female commentators from covering women's football. Following widespread criticism of her remarks, Aluko apologized, but Wright quickly dismissed it in an impassioned video message he shared on Instagram, surrounded by support for powerful people related to his position in the women's game. "I have to admit that what I said has really disappointed me," he remarked. "She is aware of my public support and assistance to her. Additionally, I am aware of the earlier discussions she had with my management and me. Therefore, even if I saw your apologies on social media, I still find it unacceptable. However, I also wish to let it go." In support of Wright, who is anticipated to be a member of this summer's Euros commentary crew, ITV also issued a statement. It said, "Ian's reputation in the sport is unquestionable. With a career spanning almost 40 years, Ian is one of the most admired and beloved football players and sporting broadcasters in the United Kingdom. He is a fantastic supporter, ally, and skilled broadcaster of women's football at both the highest international events and at the grassroots level." Senior ITV executives were incensed by Aluko's accusation last month that Wright was blocking opportunities for female pundits working on the women's game because the broadcaster prided itself on having a diverse roster for both pundits and presenters across its sports content, and making sure there was a big female influence when covering women's football, according to Mail Online. Aluko was one of 23 female pundits, presenters, and commentators that ITV and competitor BBC combined for during the 2023 Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. For 2 of those ITV live broadcasts, Wright was included as a pundit, but he was a fan at every other game. Aluko previously publicly supported the former England player, who earned 105 caps for the Lionesses, when she was criticized on social media following a punditry gaffe during the 2022 Men's World Cup in Qatar. The former Crystal Palace striker was also irritated by Aluko's remarks. Aluko expressed her opinions about Wright on Radio 4's Woman's Hour. She also stated that former Manchester City midfielder Joey Barton had harmed her career as a pundit after calling her a race card player on social media in January of last year. She claimed that the likelihood of female commentators entering the field was limited by ITV's continued use of rights to cover the women's game. "I've worked with Ian for a long time, and I believe he's a great broadcaster, but I think he knows how much he's doing in the women's game," Aluko stated. "He ought to know that, in my opinion. The reality is that there are only a certain number of spots available. It would be a free-for-all if broadcasters and coaches participated in the men's game with the same opportunities as in the women's. However, that isn't true. You mentioned Ian as an example, but I can't control the men's game like that." Aluko responded, "I don't know about wrong, but I think we need to be conscious and we need to make sure that women are not being blocked from having a pathway into broadcasting in the women's game," when asked if she believed Wright's coverage of women's football was improper. "It's still in its infancy and developing. I believe that men should be conscious of the fact that opportunities are limited. Men should be aware that they are participating in a sport that is expanding for women. We haven't always had these chances, so it's important to raise awareness and encourage other women to pursue this path."